Okay, welcome back with Happy Chappy. So today, well, it's stormy outside. So I thought I don't really have anything to do right now. Um, I'm kind of ahead of myself. So I'm on a waiting term or period uh, for many different things. Now, while I wait and I thought I would do a video. So I don't know what I want in why I'm doing the video, but it will come to me. And so I've recently been in my conscious awareness of the depths of the universe. And what I mean by that is aware of my connection to everything, being everything. That everything that's happening outside of me in other beings is so minute to what's going on. And in that, what I see is a lot of these beings are distorted in their way of thinking and feeling to separation. Which brings me to birth. In the first separation from yourself, as you become the physical body, you separate from yourself. And you place yourself in a specific point in time rather than all of time, all of space that holds time. And so when you do that, you separate yourself to be something or somebody that is different than all of what you are. Yet, as much as you are that body, you are all else that you are aware of. But because you've come into separation, you are now disturbed in yourself as you're holding space, seeing yourself separated from what you had. And while you are separated from what you had, you long to have that again. Knowingly or not, in your conscious awareness, no matter to what age you are and what you've grown to know, whether you know it or not, you long for it because you came from it and you will go back to it. Now, how much of that consciousness you hold into your knowing of that person in what you hold as that being in time, in that moment that you hold in body, to carry that into what you have become in all of everything will depend on how much of it is held together to go back into who you were, will rely or will depend on you in what is spiritual, what you see is spiritual, how you feel spiritual, how you be spiritual, which will mean not attaching to the physical and seeing yourself as separation, because all of that will die. All of that will disappear. There will be no memory of it. And what you remember, the energy that is used to remember that, will be brought to the light and neutralized. And so your existence, if it comes to attachments, will be non-existent in the light as what you remembered as body. Yet to exist in the spiritual, in the light of the body, you will take that into the light and remember the spirit that you are. But the darker that you be in the separation and how you see it to be, then you kill that spirit. Now, you don't just disappear in the energy, but the energy is transformed into something different than you are. As every energy in what we all are will transform, but to carry it on in a further memory of what you are to what you will become will not carry on when you look at things in a separation. And so if you're in a lower vibration and seeing things as a separation while longing to be who you were and looking to get there again by grabbing hold of things outside of you that you would see as separate from you, looking for that love within you, outside of you, you will find that when you pass over and transform your energy, then there will be no memory of you in consciousness. Because you choose to be on the dark path of separation, while never looking within you and understanding that what is around you is within you, and you are all of that that you see. Because you could not see it to be you without that transformation of you as the physical being that you've become. So you could be in many a form, so you could see what you can transform into be, and what you've chosen to be in who you be. And yet forgetting amnesia through the transformation that you come into body, you forget to see all that you are the light that creates all that you be. And so when you search for that in what you are, what you are missing in who you are, yet you are not missing it, you are only forgetting it through the amnesia of the transformation that you've come into. You search for it unknowingly. And maybe you grow in your consciousness to become aware of what you are. And you start to see that you are everything that you see. And so then you rise in your consciousness and you bring it to the light. And so when it comes to your time to transform again, you go back into the light with memory of who you be. In that separation, yet held together in consciousness by what you recall of who you be, in all that can be and has been. Now, when we separate at birth, come to that separation into the physical form, we are cocooned with the mother, or within the mother, in the womb. And so, as soon as we are growing, we are given everything that we need in the physical form. The food, the nourishing, the love, the warmth, the caring. But as soon as we are born, that all disappears. We come into the world, into the unknown. But we are still in our harmony, getting disturbed by all the vibrations of consciousness that is being in the place that we be. And from what they have picked up and what they have seen, they influence the vibration and how we see. And so when we come to that time of seeing with our eyes other than what we truly see in the light, we start to vibrate in who they be, and we start to see things like they see as we join into that vibration of being, of the human being, instead of just being the light. Because if we were just being the light, we would still only see the light. Now there's many of ways that you can reach this light in this human being that you are. Now, my first experience, I have told this before in meditation that I've used Kundalini as this experience, but that is not the truth. The truth of it is my first experience came through a stressful time. I lost my sight as you would see things physically. Now, I didn't lose my sight to know where things were, how they were shaped, but all I could see was light. There was no frame, there was no structure to anything. But yet, I was still me as you would see me now, as a person or as a living man. And yet, I was able to walk in the light. Brought round by stress, yet in that stress, there was a relief in what I had done. So I could be happy in myself that I had did something for another person. Even though it was painful to see and to go through, I knew within me that I'd done something that was right to help another conscious being, to lift their heart and make them feel happy in who they were. And when that happened, I was shifting from that moment into another moment where I was going to have to face another conscious being, where I wasn't going to have that enjoyment. Yet, while going moving forward into that time, I shifted into the light. As all of this was circulating around me and it was being released, and there was a comfort in me carrying out the tasks that was needed to carry out to get that comfort. Even though it was stressful to carry out them tasks to get that comfort, it brought me to the light. And so what I was getting to see is what we do as a physical body, we put so much stress on ourselves. And it has to relate to everything that's around us. But what is around us and how we are seeing it is how we are vibrating in here. And so how I was seeing other people and trying to fulfill their needs, what I was doing in helping them, I was fulfilling myself. And so when I seen someone struggling and to be able to bring them something that would put a smile on their face, to bring joy to their life. Now, this was a person that was dying. I think we both knew this person was going to die, but it wasn't being said. There was no need for it. All there was need for was to let things take its course. And so in that, all I could do was help nourish that person. But while nourishing that person, I was going through the struggle. But when I was going through the struggle, I would think about how I'm going through that struggle. Why am I making it about me? Why am I making this person's pain about me? How could I be so selfish? And I started to think I should be caring about you. But what I got to realize in going through all of it within me was that there was nothing I could do for this person. All I could do was help fix me and him. And as I viewed it and I seen this person, I was thinking, well, if I can't help you, I can surely help myself. And because I haven't been able to help you, if I'm able to help myself, I'll be able to help other people that would be in this situation, who wouldn't have to go through the struggle like I have. And so they would be able to use what the skills that I have used, or I could use to help me, help them, as I'm unable to help this person. Yet it came to that moment where there was something I could do for this person that would bring joy and smile to their face. So I did it. Even though it was a struggle for me. And so, as I was going through this struggle, this heartbreak, this unseen pain but felt, I was learning to understand it. And as it brought me to the light, what I learned is, for us to get to that light, we must go through the struggle. We must observe it and see why it is there, so we can reach that light. Because when we can accept the struggle for what it is, in the physical form of separation, you see, none of this would have happened if I wasn't seeing somebody that was separated from me in the same consciousness of all of consciousness of who I am. You see, if they didn't exist, none of it would have existed. I would have had a totally different experience of consciousness in who I am. But because my consciousness was connected to another, I got to feel and see and be who they are, as we all do with each other. But because that consciousness was close in my time of space, then I got to see their time of space and how it was, and how close we were. As in somebody that is watching this now, you're probably far apart. We are the same consciousness, but we are less aware of each other because of the space that is held between us. But it does not make us any different from each other. And so it's easier to feel a separation when it's closer to you because you see it. And so if that person didn't exist, none of the emotions and feelings of that heartbreak would have existed. There would have been a totally different experience. And so as consciousness was concerned for itself by seeing it in another being, I felt it. And yet I didn't have the power at that time to help that being, but I had the power to help myself so I could help other beings in the future. By seeing what was happening in me, which brought me to that light, by understanding there was nothing that I could do at that time for that person but what I done. And all that I could do was focus on working on me feeling better about this situation. By seeing it as for what it was and why it was the way it was. And how all that came about. And now, for me to go into the depths of it all is a lifetime in itself to explain, but as I would have to explain that person's life, my own life, and the connections and everything, it's a journey. So I'm breaking it down to the smallest way that I can and explain that when we are going through a struggle, we must be aware that it's never going to stay that way. That it's going to transform all the time. Like your heartbeat. If you've seen it on a monitor, it will go up and down, up and down, up and down, and up and down. That is life. That is something that we got to deal with. That is something that we've got to embrace and be looking forward to the next moment while enjoying the experience of the moment that we are in. So when we are going down and we feel we're at the bottom, we gotta understand where we're going. When we're at the bottom, there's only one place to go, and that's up. And when we have that focus of moving up, we are lifting the light up in who we are. We are not staying down there. We never just stay down there. We go up and we go down, we go up and we go down. And when we stay, or when we reach the bottom, we gotta look forward to going up. When we are at the bottom, we look for what we have learned from this experience that has taken us down this far. Why we've come down this far. How we've looked at the patterns that has created us to be where we are at. That we've taken ourselves to be in this place, in this moment, in this time, in this space that we hold, in all of space, to be where we are. We choose where we are going to be, how we see things, and how we feel about everything that we see. And so, if you want to be in a certain job, for example, you will take yourself there. You will do everything that you can do to get yourself into that job. You choose the path. And unknowingly to you in life, or to most of us, what we do is we go down many different paths, and we are distorted because of the separation of everything that we see. And we want this, we want that, we want this, we want that. And we're never focused on a direction of a path that we choose, yet we choose through the paths of everything that we see outside of us in the consciousness, separated from itself, wanting itself back, but attaching it to separation outside of itself. While all we have to do is turn back in, and we are not separating ourselves from what we see outside of ourselves. We are actually pulling it back together, holding that consciousness in all that we see within who we be. And so then we can focus in all that we see, in who we be, what we truly want. And when we find that in what we want, we can focus in that direction by going through all that we see and moving forward all the time in that focused direction, where we go up and we go down, we go up and we go down, but we stay focused on where we are going. And so while we're moving up and we're down and we're going for this job, we could be at the bottom feeling, I'm never going to get there. But when we're at the bottom, we have to realize that, well, what could I do to move forward? Because I'm going to go up, 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 up. And it's going to come back down. But if I keep moving forward, up and down, keeping that heart rhythm going, then I'm going to get there. If you stay low and you think that you're never going to get there, you're stopping here. You're stopping the heart. You're stopping yourself. You're stopping that vibration from moving forward to the focus that you have. But you're not being focused if you stop. Not in where you want to go anyway. You're being focused on what you are in that moment of time. While you should be obviously enjoying that experience of time, and sometimes it can be very difficult in the situations that is brought up in life. But if we are in that low moment, we must step out of it. While holding it, because it's going to take a while to get rid of it. But to get rid of it, we must look back while seeing how we got there. So we're staying in the moment, we're looking back, and then we're also looking into the future, all simultaneously, to move into the future into a better version than where we are at. Understanding that we may be on a low and it's came from all that has happened here, but it has also moved us from back there to here, so we've gained a part of the journey, and now that we are at the bottom, all that we can do is move up from here and move further into the journey while staying focused of where we are going. And so we are always moving forward, and we've always got that end result that is bringing joy in every moment that we have. Even if it's a difficult moment in time, we've still got that moment at the end to enjoy and to pull back into our experience of that difficult moment, to lift us up in that difficult moment, rising in the light of who we truly are, and not staying in that darkness of separation, feeling unloved, as we had that nourishing, loving and feeding and warmth that was given to us before our birth from our mother. And so when we came to birth, then we lost it. And from that moment to what age or whatever age you are now, then you look to go back to that moment. And so it becomes easy to relax in the world when you're put in situations, and not to battle or fight for what it is that you want. Because there's so much going on in here, because of out here, it's hard to stay focused. But that's because we focus on everything out here that is brought into here. And until we stop focusing on everything out here and start looking at in here and why we are here, then at that moment we can see. We can truly see where we've been, why we are here, where we are at, and where we are going. And where we want to go truly in how we feel in here. And guide ourselves to that path. Which may mean, or which could be that the path that we are on, we may have to change that direction in how we are thinking and feeling by viewing how we got to this moment in time. Of course, just my experience, and I thought I would share it. As I say, I wasn't sure what I was going to do the video on. I just felt I could do a video, and this is what you get. Hopefully it helps you to look at your life in consciousness and understand that you're not just the body, that you're so much more, and you've got that choice, but not to use it to nitpick through little choices that are not beneficial to you and fulfilling in your life. You need to set out a goal in what you want in your life, what is going to make you fulfilled in your life. So in a darker way it could be seen, but it's not, it's just a transformation. But if it was in that situation of where it was coming to your end days in the physical body, that you could see that you were happy with what you had done in life. And so if you were, then you would have found what you were focused on, or what you desired and focused on it. So if you feel that you're not on that path, find what it is that you would love to do, what would make you feel loved, satisfied, and comfort. What would it take for you to feel all that and to feel fulfilled in them ending days? And whatever that is, and no matter what age you are, where you are in life, find that within you, and then aim for it. And when I say aim for it, I mean keep it there, rehearse it, go over it and over and over again until you are truly feeling it in here on a regular basis. Because when you're feeling it in here on a regular basis, what you will find is the universe will start pulling itself into you. And it will give you things to do that will make you step forward to that life. And you will step forward, sometimes unconsciously, not seeing it until it's past, and think of it afterwards. Oh yeah, that just happened. I've moved forward to that moment. And that's when you add to the feeling in here. And the more you add to that feeling, the more you become that desire, that finished product that you have put into place by focusing on it. And when you're focusing on it, the universe will work for you. But when you're scattered all around you by what you see outside of you, you have no control of the vibration within you. You're controlled by the vibration of everybody around you. And so you become a lost soul. And you become on a low vibration. But as soon as you start focusing on what you want and start directing yourself to that place and time, in that space that you hold, in that vision that you have, well then you can be it. You can become it. Obviously you have to change the vibration in you, but this is how you start. You must find a vision. A vision of the end product of who you want to be in them ending days, so you can be fulfilled in who you are. And when you can see that, you will start moving forward into that way of being. Which may mean you may have to change your whole life. But you've got to understand that there's going to be pain in that, because you're so familiar with your old life that you've got to let it go. But by letting it go, you're losing it. So when you lose something, you're going to become a bit distorted. But if you've got that focus on where you're going, then you're going to be able to manage it and move forward into that better version of you. As of course, as usual, this is just my story, and I'm just sharing it with, hopefully it'll help some people out there in guiding you forward, or at least giving you a direction to look within you to have something to look for. that is more, that is better than where you feel that you are at. And to always know if you're going through any struggles, to stop for a minute. Switch off everything. Because the moment you have things on, what is happening is, what is going on in here that's making you stressed, you're just adding more to it. But the more things that's going on. So the sooner you sit with what's going on in here, the sooner it can be sorted out. As difficult as it feels and the pain that you feel within, the more you sit with it, the more you will begin to move forward in who you are and to be able to release that. By becoming aware of it and understanding it, why it is the way that it is. And what you will find is your vibration will start to lift up and you will start to feel better in you. You won't just be stuck there. But if you're just feeling, you're not sorting that out and dealing with it, and you're having multiple different things that you're listening to or watching or going out into the world and interacting with others, and you're getting taken away, you would feel that now you're not thinking or feeling the way that you were feeling. But what you're doing is you're adding more on top of that. And so the next time it comes up, when you hit that next low, it's going to be even worse than it ever was. Because you've added so much more on top of it. Which is why we must sit with ourselves and see what's going on, and to tell ourselves what is best for us. What is the best things that we do. Because the more that we overload and fill in here in the mind and the body of memory, then we're distorted in who we are. We're so out of balance that we become zombies. And even though we're making small choices, they're never the choice that is truly what we are desiring for, in that direction of the final product that we wish to be. And so while making the small choices, what we're doing is we're influencing more garbage to come into who we are and putting us on a lower vibration than we ever were, which makes it harder, more difficult to rise as we are smothered with darkness, because that darkness comes from everything that we are not, because we become so low in vibration that it's everything that we're not. But for us to reach everything that we want to be in the final days, we must raise that vibration to be who we want to be, who we desire to be. But when we are in that low vibration, taking everything as a separation, we become what we are not. We become everything out here. Even though we are that in consciousness, of course, we've got to look at it in a spiritual and a physical way, that one contradicts the other, that we must see that balance and bring it together in the center. And that is where all the power is. That is where you become the monad. And the monad is the center, where everything around it is controlled by that center. When you draw a circle, the center of that is the monad. You could not have the circle if there was no center. And that's where you become. That's where you come in, to be the monad. As you bring balance to the physical and the spiritual, the transforming of space and time. Let's say, once again, just my view and sharing it with you, and hopefully this can help you move forward to where you desire to be. This is Happy Chappy, love and peace.